Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Sunday Messages. And I am going to be starting off the money series that I've put together for you. So today we are talking all about resources, but just keep in mind that all of the podcasts that I have lined up are going to be money related. Of course, money is a really big topic, so it's actually an infinite topic, so there's no way to cover every single possible aspect of money. I could talk about it for hours. That's the fun part about money. And there's also so many different layers and dimensions to it and different ways to relate to it. So the topics that I've selected for the series that I'm going to be doing on money, I wanted it to be some foundational pieces that I think everyone should have in their back pocket. So if you feel drawn to the topic of money, make sure you stay tuned because there is more coming. The other thing that I want to mention is that I have another module of Money Magic that is coming up at the end of this month as well. And in case you didn't already know this, Money Magic is the only class of mine that grows over time. So it's designed in a way where as soon as you opt into that container, you will get an increase on your investment because I keep adding to it. If you go to the Money Magic page on my website, I'll link it in the description box, but you can see all the different topics that we go through, all of the different things, the curriculum that's included inside. There's like 6 hours of lecture content in there, video content, and classwork in there. So it's really, really dense, really meaty, and I continually add to it. So the only other thing that I want to mention about Money Magic is I add to it and then the price goes up right after I add the next module. So every time I add to it, the price also increases. So I'm giving you guys some time if you want to get it at the current price. It's $444. But after I do the module at the end of this month, it's going to be going up to $555. And the good part about this is that once you're in, you're in. So you get all of the new modules that I'm going to add in the future. Because every time I learn something new about money, I take it to the Money Magic container. That's always where I put my money content. So as soon as you're in, you're in. That price is locked in. Nothing gets changed. So you just get whatever content I put in there. That's the cool part about that container. I don't have anything else like that. So if you feel the call to work with me on money, if you want to really dig into your financial well-being and your energetic relationship to money, this is the place to be. No doubt. It is my most popular class. It's epic. I can't wait to see you inside. Okay, let's dive into this. Now, one of the things that I'm sure many of you have heard is this whole concept of money is energy, which it absolutely is. Money is energy. What trips people up about this, because I see this all the time, is people get frustrated with the statement, money is energy. Even though this statement is really, really important to reconstructing your relationship with money, a lot of people get tangled up in it because it feels abstract. It feels like an abstraction that makes it really difficult to apply in your real life. So just for a moment, let's take money out of the equation and think about, or let's just imagine that you're throwing a party. Money does not exist and you are throwing a party. So you need food, maybe you need vendors, maybe you need entertainers, fresh flowers, all sorts of different decorations, balloons, streamers, whatever. Well, if money doesn't exist, you would have to become an energetic match for the food, for the vendors, for the entertainers, for the flowers, for all of the resources that compose a party. So if you are living in this reality where money isn't a factor, but all of the same rules apply in terms of creation and manifestation, well, you would skip all of the money stuff and you would go directly to receiving the things. Becoming an energetic match for the flowers, for the people, for the entertainment, for the cake, for the balloons, etc., etc. There would be no middleman. There would be no interfacing with currency. It wouldn't exist. Even if money didn't exist, and this reality that I just described was actually how it worked, you would still be able to withhold resources from yourself. That would still be possible in that situation. It has nothing to do with the money. You could start saying things like, well, it hasn't rained very much, so I don't think that I'm going to get the kind of flowers that I want. Or, oh, I know that cake decorator's sister and we don't get along that well, so she may not want to do me this favor. She may not want to help me out with this cake. You could just as easily go into shortage about any number of these things. It's a busy time of year. There's not going to be that many people available. Who would want to help with something like this? You could start projecting onto any number of these resources that you require in order to make this party a reality. The only difference between that reality and this reality where we have money is, one, having money is way better because it's way more efficient. And the second thing is, instead of projecting onto the resources themselves, like the actual thing, the actual balloons and the actual cake, instead of that, we're using money as a middleman. So you just project scarcity or problems or discomfort onto the money instead of the stuff. So when we come back around to this idea, this general concept that money is energy, this is what I mean. Money is an energetic resource that allows us to access different things. So depending on what you're an energetic match for, when it comes to stuff or quality of life or quality of home or level of internal security, that is going to determine what your finances look like. And this is the interesting thing about it being an energetic resource, is that it can shake out in so many different ways. There are some people who are an energetic match for a luxurious lifestyle, but they're not very good at holding money. So the number in the bank account might not look that satisfying or stable or secure, but they have so much money flowing through them that they're able to maintain a really luxurious lifestyle. It's just that the bank account number might not add up or necessarily reflect the same level of luxury that their physical environment does. The opposite is also true. You could have someone who has a ton of money, who is absolutely overflowing with money, but when it comes to their physical world, their immediate environment, or the decisions that they're making on a day-to-day basis, their lifestyle looks like they're living in extreme poverty, or they do not have a lot of money to spare. They're not living in overflow, but their bank account could reflect something completely different. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there is no objective reality. There are no objective rules around money. The only rules that exist when it comes to money are the ones that you believe in and the ones that you play by. So if you believe that buying nice things is going to bleed your bank account dry, it will. If you believe that buying snazzy stuff is going to be wildly expansive and make you an energetic match for even more luxury and even more expansion financially and receiving more, then it will. Because you are playing an energetic game. Because the only thing that you're doing is projecting your own beliefs and feelings and thoughts and ideas onto something that is completely neutral. So let's go back to that party example. When we're talking about a cake and balloons and streamers and, you know, some chairs and tables or whatever it is to throw the party, you're probably not going to heavily project onto those items because it's just balloons or just some cake or just this, just that. But when there's money in the mix, for whatever reason, that neutral resource no longer becomes neutral. And your lifetime of projection starts getting lit up and you start projecting heavily onto the money. And the money isn't doing anything. The money is just there. The money is just an avenue for you to access the things that you want. Theoretically, you can manifest stuff without money. There are ways to do that, but money makes things really efficient. Money makes things very simple. Money can make things much smoother and faster, and money really simplifies things in a way that I think we've forgotten and that I think we've really lost appreciation for along the way, just because we have all been alive and existed with money. We've never existed without the experience of money. Money is older than us. So of course, theoretically, you could throw the party purely based on energetic alignment, personal relationships, and bartering, trading. There's a lot of ways that you could make the party happen. I just believe that it would be much more difficult and much less efficient to do it that way than through just receiving the money in order to make this happen. Now, here is the other thing that absolutely drives me bananas. Now, there is a really common human perspective, which pretty much falls into the category of there's a finite amount of money on earth. Now, if you think about this for more than 2 seconds, you understand just how absurd that belief is. How is that possible? How is it possible for there to be a finite amount of money that exists on earth, but for billionaires to continually emerge? Explain to me how we go from trading animal pelts and shells to having countless billionaires emerge on Earth, yet you think money is finite? You think it's limited? How does that make any sense? Where is all of this money coming from? How is it that we have more and more people on Earth and more people emerging into wealth? Because you would assume that if money were finite, as the population increased, then money would become far more sparse. But that's not what's happening. If there is one thing that I want you to get in this episode, it is that money has to do with your relationship to resources, your allowance of those resources in your life. And I'll add this in as well. I'll say it also has to do with discipline of thought. Because if you are not taking the time to intentionally construct a new perspective of money, more than likely the old one is always going to come up and override what you have going on. If you don't have any discipline of thought, then you're going to get hijacked by past experiences, more than likely. Until you get really intentional, until you get focused, until you start building the new experience that you want to have, your memories, your beliefs, and your past experiences are going to be very, very convincing. For me personally, the most exciting thing about working with people on money and working with money myself and meeting new points of expansion within myself when it comes to money is remembering that money is not what you think it is. It's not as material as you think. It is not as objective as people like to believe. And that is the biggest gift, because money is always relative. And I would also say that money is relational. It's about your relationship with God. It's about your relationship with resources. It's about your relationship with receiving. Now, I will give you a fun piece of homework for this episode. Over the next few weeks, or you know what, let's just say for the entirety of March, instead of focusing on money at all, Focus on what you want instead. So what I mean by that is don't focus on the money or the cost or the price of something. Focus on the outcome. Maybe it's you want rent to be paid early. Maybe it's you want to buy something really extravagant at your favorite store. Maybe you want to make an investment in something that you've been meaning to put your money into. Maybe you want to get into money magic. I don't know what you want, but the point is focus on just getting the thing, just receiving the thing, becoming an energetic match for the stuff or the experience or whatever it is that you're wanting, and see what happens. Because for half of you, the only thing that is really in your way is your feelings about money, your projections onto money. That's the only thing that is making things more difficult than they need to be. This can be really easy. Money can be really easy. This is one of my biggest beliefs, and that I wish everyone on the planet could feel, is that money gets to be easy, and money gets to feel good, and money gets to expand you, and you get to have a good time with money. So that's your homework. See what happens when you totally take money out of the equation and you just focus on the thing or the stuff or the outcome that you want. You want to access the energy of that part right after you exchange the money. So if you can skip to that part right after it's paid, right after rent is paid, what does it feel like? Right after you make that investment and it's done and you still have money in the bank, what does that feel like? Don't focus on the payment itself. That's probably too triggering for some of you. This is about aligning to the feeling of after, and then see what happens from that space. Okay, I feel like this is a good beginning place for this money series that I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next, but I have several topics that I want to cover. So there's more money content to come. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and don't forget, if you want to get into money magic, if you like working on money stuff, if it's time for you to dive into some money work with me, now is a really, really good time to get into money magic. I mean, when is it not? But now is a really good time because you get into the live module at the end of March. So the link for that will be in the description box. It will be in the show notes. It'll be in the link in my bio on Instagram. It will be all over the place. You're going to see it in the newsletter on Sundays. Money magic is what we're going to be talking about for the month. So I hope you enjoy. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing this episode, please send it to them. I appreciate it so much. And that's a wrap. That's all for today. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending some time with me. And I will talk to you next time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.